Hey, it is PPC time. I showed you last week how to create a really cheap broad modifier campaign, especially at the beginning when you have no idea. I love good feedback, and I thought, oh well, maybe I'll show you how to optimize a broad campaign. Because I know a lot of people always keep just talking about exact. I find if you set up a broad campaign really well, especially at the beginning, instead of an automatic campaign, then you are on the winning side because you can manage that much better than an automatic campaign. I find what is an automatic campaign to is literally just browse through your keywords, enter your photos, and just spreads it all out. So you lose a ton of money because you like have absolutely no control, right? It's just an autopilot, and you're just going to sleep and. I don't know. Then you wonder where did you go? I don't know, into some funny country instead of to your destination where you wanted to go. So setting up a broad campaign very early in the days can really help you. So how do you do that? I'm going to show you now. All right, here I am again, my boring keyword tracker. This is the first thing I always do for all of my products. And you can do this or you don't want to do it. Totally up to you. If you want to track keywords properly, and even if that's the only tool you use an Helium 10 per month, and that's where you spend $100. Who cares? It's so valuable. Um, Using these keywords that you actually put in your listing, using keywords that your competition is using in their advertising is worth gold. So, what I generally do, I put all these keywords in my listing, and then I start running a broad campaign, rather than an automatic campaign. There are categories where I want an automatic campaign. Generally, if the keywords if it's less competitive, then definitely, just because I'm not too scared. If the keywords are quite accurate, then I'm also running an automatic campaign, just let Amazon do their thing. I may even run an automatic campaign later in the product lifecycle just to discover completely new keywords, just more like on a discovery campaign. But if I'm like a bit scared that the keywords that I'm using in my listing are relatively expensive, or Amazon could just pull stuff out, like if you, let's say you sell a rattan tray, and obviously it's a rattan serving tray, right? Or it's a serving rattan tray or something like that. Then suddenly, if you run an automatic campaign and you haven't set this up properly using negative keywords, Amazon will just blast your money out on the keyword serving tray until the algorithm realizes, oh, it's not just a serving tray because these are all the plastic $5.99 serving trays. That's a nice decorative tray. And then it's just your money's already gone. You call me and you cry and you're very frustrated and you're going to give up on Amazon saying you've been cheated. And not the case. You need to be very smart when you set up an automatic campaign. And generally, if I do that, I already put a few negative terms in there straight away, just because I don't want Amazon to start spending money on it. I want this algorithm to do what I want it to do, not one of the things it should do. So using a broad campaign, you're like kind of running an automatic campaign, but in a fenced area, I kind of want to say, because you're giving him certain keywords that it obviously can go left and right and mid, front and behind, but it's just not going to go completely wild. It will try to pop it like quite close together around this broad campaign, especially if you use a broad modifier, which I showed you last time with the little pluses in between. Then you can determine which keywords should be in the phrase that people search for. It's not as restrictive as a phrase campaign. If you're very confident about your keywords and you have maybe a ton, then you can also go for a phrase campaign. In saying that, you limit yourself quite a lot. So if you still want to do like a discovery journey, then I would recommend a broad campaign. So how do I do a broad campaign? I go and have all my million keywords. So this is like a lot. Obviously, you can't handle them. I've generally filtered them by search volume. Then I often filter by CPR as well. And that's just an example. And then you see this like, so this is a pill bottle. You always want to remember what am I actually selling? And it's not what's the biggest search volume. It's not about that. It's about what's the most accurate term that describe your product in the best accurate way. When people search for a medicine organizer, will they expect to see a water bottle there? That maybe also comes with a pill organizer. That is a great thing. But will do that? Probably not. So they probably just imagine, I don't know, a little box, maybe even a drawer, drawer box where you have like all these little pill things, maybe even something like a first aid kit. They're expecting a lot of things, but probably not a water bottle. So that's the first thing you need to keep in mind. Make sure people will expect your product when they search for that. So search term and keyword should match. Sometimes the search term is obviously a bit different. That's why we're working with keywords, and then you look in your search term report and you see search terms. So that's a bit of a difference. If you were not aware there's a difference, now you know. Okay, so you use the keyword tracker, pop your keywords in, and then you choose keywords. You can either go what I do often. I go quite at the bottom and set up my campaign with low, long tail search terms, or with keywords that are really accurate. Sometimes they're a bit shorter. So for the campaign that I'm going to show you in a second, where we had like quite a high acres of like still in May, but now with all the things we did, it came down a lot. So it's a really good campaign to show you. You can choose also keywords that are super relevant and have a higher search volume. You just need to be aware that things can be put before and after. There are certain keywords where customers will always just search for, I don't know, a snorkel, right? If it's a snorkel, then it's a snorkel for kids. It's a kid's snorkel, it's a diving snorkel, it's a scuba snorkel. These are kind of the keywords. It doesn't get super long, just because that's just a matter of the product. And there's other keywords, other items that have really long keywords. So you just need to be very aware of what you offer, and to choose certain keywords where you believe that describes my product in the most accurate way. So there's a decent search volume and has a low CPR. The lower the CPR, the easier it is to rank. If you have a combination of great search volume, low CPR, and low competing offers, then that's pretty cool. So something like that here is probably a bit easier to rank for than this one, just because of the competition. If the competition is high, you generally have a higher bids on your keywords. So finding these and making a bid combination actually takes some time to go through this, then it works. Don't put too many keywords in there. Some people say 5, some people say not more than 10 or 15. I find it needs to be something that you can manage, and it needs to make sense to bundle. So let's just call this classification. If you would have to sort people into something, yeah, you would probably say, okay, they're men and they're female and they're male and they're certain age groups, and that's kind of how you go with search terms as well. So instead of just saying, oh, I just have this group here and I've got to go 5, 5, 5, they have nothing to do with each other. You want to make sure they're very similar in their group. So if these are 10 keywords, then that's fine. If they're 5, then that's fine. What you don't want to do is mix really high search volume or high CPR with low CPR keywords that you may think, oh, this is something I should start ranking for because it's like the main keyword. Like, I don't know, just the word snorkel, but it's really expensive, but a lot of people just look for it. Then maybe put this on its own and don't add it with all the other low search volume keywords, just because the way the algorithm works, it will generally show you just for the snorkel one. So you choose something very similar. Like you see, if you have a lot of keywords, it's actually quite nice because you see there's tons and tons in the 2000s. So you could just say, okay, I'm going to start with the 2000 search volume. Keep in mind, there's always often a bit relative. And then you choose 10 keywords, 15 keywords, and pop them in your broad campaign. So our broad campaign looks like that. I wanted to just show you how it is now. It's quite nice because we have a relative low ACoS, 21%. It's still not awesome. I would love to go down to like 15, but keep in mind it's a broad campaign, so there's still a lot of keywords where we're showing up that we're not super relevant for. But it's a broad campaign and has 5 products in there, which are all a variation. Like I said, I've set this up like as if it was an automatic campaign. That's where all 5 products are in there. And I'm actually targeting 23 keywords in here. So it seems a lot, but it's not. It's totally fine if you look at the keywords. I'm not going to show you all because I don't want you to know what it is. But if you have some keywords you may take out later, so you need to obviously look at this quite often. So generally when I set up a campaign, I look at them definitely weekly, sometimes even a bit earlier, like every 2 or 3 days, just to make sure nothing goes off. Sometimes some certain keywords just shoot through the roof in a negative way and they just spend your money. So you want to make sure you have a close eye on everything. You can use tools or you do it manually. I do a lot of things manually. I just don't trust most of these tools. I sometimes find them also a bit complex, and whenever they get their data, it's just always a bit fussy. So I like to go in here and just look at it. So I've seen this looks pretty cool. Cost per click, yes, 40 cents. Could be worse. This is a high seasonal item, now a summer item. So having this kind of click cost is pretty good, considering a lot of people would definitely bid on it. That's now the last month of July, which is pretty cool. Click-through rate, yeah, great. Could be better, but I've also seen much, much worse. Now I want to show you where we came from. So I can't show you at the beginning of the year, but beginning of the year, we were like at an ACoS of like 60%, like really bad. And then we changed this. Now I'm just going to show you to May, where we already came from. So click-through rate came down a little bit, unfortunately, but also our cost per click came down, which is and we have more than doubled our sales in the same months. Our advertising costs are down 15%. That's awesome. So we spend way less, make way more money. We have just a teensy bit of a lesser click-through rate, but we save a lot of money on the cost per clicks, which is great. Which generally has to do that we optimized a lot of our keywords, and we started ranking automatically, organically on those keywords as well. And Amazon started realizing that we are highly relevant for our keywords. So it's really important that you're showing up for the right keywords. And that's the campaign that I showed you last week about setting up a cheap campaign. It's the same principle. You want to be always top of search. There's no point on having a campaign with tons of keywords and we even know high budget, but because you're not relevant, because Amazon just couldn't make this connection for whatever reason. It could be indexing, it could be your listing not optimized, it could be just you choosing the wrong keywords in your manual campaign. If there's no real connection, no relevancy, you will advertise on page 2, 3, 4, 5, or somewhere at the bottom where literally people are already fed up and they're already pretty much made a decision on top. They have probably put that other one in their cart already, and then they scroll down and said, oh, let's look at this one. And then they click at the bottom one, which is yours. So you're still going to pay your cents, but you will never make that purchase. So you want to make sure less is more, focus, 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 choose a few keywords where you can actually be on page one. And that may not be the snorkel. That may be the pink snorkel for kids and adults, the pink snorkel for swimming in a pool, the pink snorkel for lap swimming or something like that. Something way longer where you know, with my bid, I can guarantee I am on top search. And then yes, that keyword may only have 1200 search volume. That's also fine. Pop 5 in there with the same search volume, and then you have 5,000-6,000 a month. That's great. So you can start making money on that, and then you work your way up. So this is where we came from. This is what I can show you here now in live. And today we are here, which is awesome. 21%. We have a really good return. Clicks are cheaper. We got more clicks. We made way more sales. And it's like I said, reducing your click cost in for this highly relevant summer item during summer, with all the competition being out there and like increasing that, you hear every day that PPC gets so much more expensive. That's a really good achievement, and you can only do that if you optimize your campaign weekly, and then later on, hopefully only fortnightly. I'm planning this to go down to about 15%. That's probably the lowest we can do based on the competition. But then we're quite happy because our tacos will be like way below anything else. So I hope you find this helpful. Let me know. And if you do, like and subscribe. Ask me questions if you have any.